What's up, guys? Universe Z here with another video, and this time we have Recursion's winning Shenron deck.
So, Shenron, if you guys don't know, guys, he's an awesome leader. Yellow, when he attacks, you get to search the top 5 cards and add up to one Shadow Dragon to your hand. And then when he awakens at 3 life. You draw 2 cards and tap 1 energy, which is great. He turns into this big boy where when he attacks, you draw 1 card. At the end of the turn, you untap all of your Shadow Dragons, which is pretty dope.
And he has an activate main where you can pay 6 energy to special summon or the 7 Shadow Dragons with different names from your discard pile.
We don't really utilize that in this deck. We can, but you know, it's we never get there. It sucks sometimes. Yeah. But yeah, I've been having a lot of success with this deck. It's very fun. So without further ado, I'm gonna jump right into it. We got 4 Oceanis. This is the heart, bread and butter of the deck. She bursts 1.
The Animancer.
She bursts 1 to search for 1 Shadow Dragon with, I think, energy of 8 or less, and move it to your hand. So she's the bread and butter. You want to see her turn 1, you know, as early as possible and consistently, because she sets up the drop with the burst. And not only that, but she also goes right into, she helps you with the burst, like I said. Next, we got 4 negative energy 5-star balls. So the deck changed. Obviously, this is the aggressive version of it. This ball is pretty dope. For 1 energy, I can summon him and then pop him out to a special summon the Rage Shenron that we play at 4.
Correct.
So these just speeds up the deck and allows for aggression. This is critical automatically. And then when this card attacks, he actually takes a life to get 5k. So, you know, he could be 15k critical instantly. Really hard for your opponent to drop unless they're, you know, dropping super combos. And then you untap him. If you go second, you untap him turn 1, which is pretty dope.
Yep.
Next, guys, we have 3 ES Shenrons, the Cryo Manta. So this is just in the deck to search out for the balls. You want to make sure that you have them turn 1. So if you don't, then you do that. It also is pretty nifty because it's a counterplay, so that never really comes into hand in this deck in particular for what I'm doing. But there are games where I can't do what I need to do, so you go later. So it is a nifty effect. And then it also could be special summon later in the game, and I'll show you. So 3 of those. Next, we play 4 of the big boys. Omega Shenron Allies Absorb. This card is extremely powerful.
Pretty nice.
So basically, how you play him is you tap 1 yellow, and then you can sack 1 Shadow Dragon with an energy cost between 1 and 4, and you basically draw a card and play him. Then he has an activate main where you can remove from play 1 of the Shadow Dragons in your drop with an energy cost of, I think, 2 or 4. And then you can take a life, you send it to your warp, and then he gains that effect. So he can basically absorb any of these guys' effects, 2 to 4, and it's pretty nuts. He's also an 8-drop, so 30k, which is nuts. You can turn him into a crit, and he helps yourself awaken. Next, we got 4 Novas. It has to be at 4 in the deck. I love this card. So for 1 energy, so long as you have 1 Shadow Dragon in play, he comes out for 1 energy. You reduce the cost in his hand by 3. He has an activate main where you switch him to the side to burst 2. So you rest him to burst 2. Then you can special summon any Shadow Dragon with 90k power or less and you know, 4-drop 4 or less. And you basically play them with their skills negated for the turn. So you can play him if you don't have him in play, which you never really do. You can play him depending on how you set it up. You can play any of the balls, which is really good. And he just like 8 and 4 instantly on.
He's just Recursion. He's a good card. He's Recursion. He helps you fill your drop. I mean, he's good, and he's definitely 2 battle cards, which is the worst part of it.
So you just start building your board instantly.
When you're going to face, so you can really like turn 1, have the 1-drop, pop them to go into the attacker, do a crit damage, send it to your drop to play the 8-drop, swing.
That'll be turn 2,
you can send it to your drop, have them in play, you know, and you can just do multiple different little things.
Correct. So in tandem with this guy, we play 2 of these, 2 of these, and 2 of these. So these are your targets. So you don't ever really hard cast these guys at all. You usually just they fodder for burst, and then you can put them in play. So cool thing about him is that if you don't have a Shadow Dragon in play, you could put him in play first, because if you put this big guy in play, then he won't be able to put in play. So you would do turn 1, have the other Shadow Dragon in play, then summon him, burst, get this out, or somehow get this out, and then drop for the Omega.
And the biggest thing too is that, like, you just play these based on your matchups, right? Just how your matchup is going. Because Shenron is such a control deck, even though it can play really good aggro, that you really have the option to change your pace and tone based on what stimuli you're getting in the match.
Correct.
Right? If your opponent's pushing back and they're doing a very good job defending, they drop the Vegeta Unison against you or what have you, you have the space now to change how you choose to play, as well as having access to a double striker that can evolve. I mean, a crit that can evolve into a double striker here. So it's just so many different things that you can do. And its fluidity, which makes it such a versatile deck.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's very good. So we'll move forward.
Yep. So on top of this, we play 4 of these. So cool thing is, when you combo with this card or when he attacks, you get to KO any card that is greater than your opponent's energy cost.
In rest mode,
rest mode, yep. And so cool thing is, you can special summon him that same turn, attack, free play him over him. Now you have 3 attacks with, just increasing the amount of. Go ahead.
Just increasing the frequency of attacks, and talking about increasing the frequency of attacks, because this deck is a very, very aggressive deck. The way it wants to play is that, I've done so many things, like you can deal with unisons as well, troublesome unisons, by just, activating Animancer. Nuova brings him out, he can attack, then you can evolve, restand it, and swing with a double strike. It's just really, really rough for your opponent to deal with.
Exactly. Yep. So heart of the decks, clearly. Let me get that out of the way for you guys. All right. Next, we got our 4 super combos. So we play 3-1 split, draw 2, and KO.
Yes, and so obviously the drawing is great, but the KOing is really, really pivotal against matchups that are using blockers. This deck is not going to deal with blockers very, very easily, and there are some decks that can cheat out blockers, especially like the new one, Mechikabura, etc. Those cards are, great.
Correct.
And I think he kills him in rest mode, so forget it. Forget the blocker statement. I'll recant that. I'm bad. But against troublesome cards.
Next, we have 3 of the Mega Shenron, the big head I like to call him. He's just nuts. You have to warp 7 Shadow Dragons from your drop that are yellow, and then you play him for 1 energy, draw a card, and he's triple strike. Period. So instantly he's just nuts. And then we also have Celzino as our secret rare, so it's very easy to get into Celzino. Obviously he's an 8 drop for 1 energy. He's another 8 drop for 1 energy, and then you have the 1 drop for 4. So instantly you already have the Celzino, and you still can build your board.
And Nuova can even help you on those really, really weird or obtuse situations where you're like, hey, I don't have this. Nuova can go, hey, do this, bring out the 3 drop, evolve into the 4 drop. Now you've made your 4 drop or what have you, or something else. Just in really different or weird situations where you don't have that these guys in play. It's not a great game. You can still make it.
Next, we got our 3-pan. So we only play her for him. So in this deck, you basically awaken turn 2, turn 3, depending on the situation. And you're going to be taking your life with your effects to get to 2 life. You want to awaken that 2 life so you can go into the pan. The Whisperer, basically once per game.
She's like, get up, nigga.
She just untaps a yellow card. So
wake up, nigga.
You get to untap him. So now she gives him dual attack. She's also a blocker, which is pretty cool. So you can do things where untap your other blockers, have her, and just,
And again, guys, the point is that you can play. This deck is so fluid because, like, I've done things where I'm like, yo, I'm on the dormant, I can't win this turn. She's going to restand. He's going to remove the Animancer, and then she's going to restand him. Now I have a blocker or whatever. Just in different situations, especially in situations where maybe I'm not awake.
Forced to work in, and you had to do those things. Next, 2 of those. You could do 3. I would definitely think about doing 3. But basically, on a turn that you go into your Celzino, you just negate the negate, and that's it. They got to deal with that. So he's nuts. And then we play 1 of him as our overwhelm as well. Pretty much, you overwhelm, and then you're able to pick up your Celzino. Next, 1 double strike, 2 power to sands, and 2 of those. And that's the deck profile, guys. Power Exchange is going to rest cards. This is dealing with your barriers, and then you can double strike them with your critical for the game. So that's the deck, guys.
Universe Z.
Correct. Universe Z out. Thank you.
Enjoy.